Caitlin Clark, a prominent figure in basketball, has again become involved in controversy. After her recognition as Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year, Clark has faced criticism from within the WNBA. Sheila Johnson, co-owner of the Washington Mystics, expressed her concerns in a recent CNN interview, asserting that the entire league, rather than just Clark, deserved this recognition. "We have so much talent that has not received due acknowledgement. I don't believe we can attribute it to only one player," Johnson stated, highlighting the uneven media attention among WNBA athletes. Johnson's remarks reflect a rising frustration within the league regarding the disproportionate focus on individual players like Clark, while the league's primarily Black talent often goes unnoticed. Johnson's critique centered on the inherent bias in media representation, contending that emphasizing a single player can overshadow the accomplishments of others in the WNBA. "Why couldn't they have featured the whole WNBA on that cover and declared the WNBA as the League of the Year?" she asked. "When we consistently highlight one player, it causes resentment." While Johnson recognized Clark's abilities, she stressed the importance of uplifting all players, irrespective of race or background. Her remarks follow a season marked by discussions surrounding racial equity and representation in professional sports. Clark, now in her second year with the WNBA, has made significant contributions both on and off the court. She attracted record-breaking viewership during her rookie season and has leveraged her visibility to discuss critical matters, such as white privilege and the necessity to support Black women in the league. Despite her accomplishments, her swift ascension has ignited debates about fairness in acknowledgement and representation. This is not the first instance of Clark encountering criticism. Earlier this year, she was involved in a similar dispute when First Lady Jill Biden suggested extending an invitation to both her Iowa team and the LSU Tigers to visit the White House after LSU's championship victory. Clark turned down the proposal, reinforcing the principles of competition and merit in sports. While Clark's achievements are unmistakable, Johnson's remarks highlight the ongoing challenge for the WNBA, balancing individual prominence with equity across the league. Clark's remarkable talent has attracted new audiences to women's basketball, but the discussion around her underscores the ongoing efforts necessary to elevate all players within the league. As the WNBA expands, there is hope that these conversations will foster greater recognition for the league's talent, contributing to a more inclusive future for women's sports. One owner from the WNBA is disputing Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark's recognition as Athlete of the Year from Time Magazine. Sheila Johnson, owner of the Washington Mystics, appeared on CNN on Friday morning to discuss the award and her concerns about it, singling out one player. Time recognized Clark as the Athlete of the Year due to her remarkable season, both on and off the court. An IndyStar analysis revealed that she was responsible for 1 in every 6 tickets sold in the WNBA in 2024 and filled arenas at home and away. Over 300,000 fans attended Gainbridge Fieldhouse, setting a WNBA single-season record, and opposing venues were filled throughout the year. Several teams, including the Mystics and Las Vegas Aces, relocated their games from their usual smaller arenas to NBA or NHL-sized venues for Fever matchups during the season. The Fever faced the Mystics in the last game of the regular season at the home of the NBA's Washington Wizards, which is 4 times the size of the Mystics' home arena, and achieved a single-game attendance record of 20,724. The WNBA was recognized as the fastest-growing brand of 2024 by Morning Consult, which analyzed over 1,100 brands. However, Johnson expressed to CNN anchor Amanda Davies that she believes Time should not have highlighted Clark specifically. It has taken the WNBA nearly 28 years to reach this level, Johnson stated on CNN. This year, something changed for the WNBA, and it's due to the draft and the incoming players. It's not just Caitlin Clark, it's Angel Reese. There's a great deal of talent that has been overlooked, and I don't think we can attribute it to just one player. The league was already experiencing significant growth prior to Clark's draft in 2024, largely driven by the contributions of Black women like three-time MVP Aja Wilson, New York Liberty MVP Jonquel Jones, and WNBA All-Stars Dewana Bonner and Alyssa Thomas. However, the young Fever star became a key factor for the 2024 season, as economist Ryan Brewer estimated that Clark contributed to 5% of economic activity within the league during her rookie year. Some of that activity, both economic and media-related, stemmed from perceived rivalries, particularly between Clark and fellow Chicago Sky rookie Angel Reese. The 4 matchups between the Fever and Sky in 2024 generated significant buzz and were nearly sold out each time. The WNBA is embracing this rivalry in 2025, as the Fever and Sky are set to compete 5 times in the regular season, including the season opener. In her CNN interview, Johnson stated that she believes Clark has been highlighted due to being a white woman, which overlooks her Black peers. Clark is the 5th athlete and the 2nd basketball player to receive this award since Time introduced the Athlete of the Year distinction in 2019. LeBron James is the only other basketball player to have received this honor. Clark also joins the ranks of Simone Biles, Lionel Messi, and Aaron Judge as individual recipients. There is a precedent for multiple players receiving the award, as Time granted the entire 2019 U.S. Women's National Soccer team the award after their fight for equal pay in 2019. I want to approach this very diplomatically, and it's simply the way the media presents race, if I'm being completely honest, Johnson stated. I feel quite upset because I've observed numerous players of color who are equally talented, yet they don't receive the acknowledgement they deserve. I believe it's time for that to change. So, last night, you read Time magazine, and Caitlin Clark was honored as the Athlete of the Year. Why couldn't they have featured the entire WNBA on the cover and declared, "The WNBA is the League of the Year, given all the talent we possess"? When you continuously highlight one player, it fosters resentment, and now we're beginning to hear stories of racism in the WNBA, which I don't want to hear. We must work together and strengthen our league, respecting everyone playing and their skills. Los Angeles Sparks player Lexie Brown supported Clark in a series of posts on X, stating, claiming that after having to move her team's games to a larger venue when they face the Fever is absolutely outrageous. As one of the league's most prominent players, Clark has secured numerous external brand partnerships, including a $3.5 million annual deal with Nike, a partnership with State Farm featuring her in national commercials, and agreements with Hy-Vee, Gatorade, Buick, Xfinity, and Gainbridge. Johnson holds that the division she perceives in the league began with these deals, which Clark started to acquire while still studying at Iowa. They wish to receive similar recognition. It all began with Caitlin's Nike sponsorship, Johnson told CNN. Other players are asking, what about us? Nevertheless, Clark is not the sole player obtaining these deals, appearing on magazine covers, or receiving these accolades. Reese was among the most recognized women's basketball players in the nation as a national champion at LSU even before joining the Sky, and she will launch a signature shoe with Reebok in 2026. similar to Clark's signature shoe arrangement with Nike. Reese also has brand partnerships with Reese's Puffs, featuring on the cereal box cover now named Angel Reese's Puffs, posed for the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition, and graced the covers of magazines like Women's Health, Sports Illustrated, and Adweek. She was named the Sporting News Athlete of the Year in 2023 and BET's Sportswoman of the Year in 2024. Wilson also has a partnership with Nike for a signature shoe set to launch in 2025, along with a clothing line with the company. Wilson has featured in nationwide advertisements for Nike, Gatorade, and Google, appeared on the cover of the NBA 2K video game, and was recognized as one of Time's 100 most influential people of 2024 in April. Wilson was also honored as the best athlete in women's sports at the 2024 ESPYs through a fan vote, surpassing Clark, golfer Nelly Korda, and tennis player Coco Gauff. Clark spoke about how she has unintentionally become a focal point for discussions related to race in the league during her interview with Time as well. Being a white woman from West Des Moines, Iowa, in a predominantly black league, some viewers have used Clark to diminish certain black players. She aimed to address and end those conversations. "I want to claim that I've earned everything, but as a white person, I acknowledge there is a privilege," Clark told Time. "Many of the standout players in the league have been black. This league has largely been shaped by them. The more we can recognize, underscore, and discuss this, and subsequently inspire brands and companies to support those players who have elevated this league, I believe it is crucial. I must keep striving to change this. Elevating Black women will create something beautiful." Johnson's Mystics indeed faced Reese's Sky at Capital One Arena this year on June 6th. However, that game only attracted 10,000 spectators, less than half the attendance of the game featuring Clark at the season's end. Johnson, the first Black woman to own a stake in 3 professional sports teams, is among numerous individuals in sports and media attributing a negative aspect to race regarding Clark's popularity. WNBA MVP Aja Wilson has noted that Clark being white was a significant factor influencing the rookie's popularity. In May, The View host Sunny Hostins remarked during an episode of the show that Clark's popularity was partly a result of white privilege. Journalist Jamele Hill argued it was naive to suggest that Clark's race as a white individual and her sexuality as a straight woman did not contribute to her popularity in the WNBA, where the majority of players are Black, and many identify as lesbian, during an interview with the Los Angeles Times in May. Hill also stated that Clark's popularity with these characteristics is problematic. Former FS1 and ESPN host Skip Bayless, who was one of Clark's fiercest critics before the beginning of her WNBA career, acknowledged that he feigned a lack of admiration for her talent out of guilt, and to avoid provoking racial conflict. He even went as far as to claim that Clark had turned into a right-wing symbol because she's a white player succeeding in the sport of basketball.